Children do more in a day than we sometimes realize. Their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and wonderings are moments that continually shape who they are and who they will grow to be. Reflecting on these experiences and learning from and through them are a vital way for children to get authentic feedback from their biggest fans, themselves. This is why I'm passionate about students having an online space dedicated to sharing, growing, and highlighting their successes, failures, and everything in between. I started building student blogs with grade 1. I figured if the youngest amongst our students could navigate this process, there would be no reason for our older students, or their teachers, to resist. However, my go-to person in grade 1 was not going to make this process easy. Meet Armin, grade 1 teacher and self-proclaimed technology skeptic.
As we've been using the iPads the last year or so, I've seen that there are more things that we can do with iPads that are creative and collaborative, and our use with the iPads has focused on that, and for that the students have been creating their own books or finding ways to share. And one example of that have to do with the blogs that we use in first grade, and the students have choice over when they want to blog and how they want to blog, and they use the blog to just take a quick photo or inform their parents of what they're doing that day in the moment, and when parents pick them up or they get home, the parents already have an idea of what's happened at school. The blogs have been a great way as a talking piece for parents to initiate a conversation, and a photo for students to describe their learning. And it's also shown their learning throughout the year, which has been really helpful for them to look back and think about their learning and change. So it's similar to a portfolio.
Armin made my journey into blogging really worthwhile, and I learned about what works and what doesn't. Slow, simple, and collaborative change. You can initiate a conversation about such change by asking teachers to start with their comfort zone. What are they comfortable with? What does it look like when they're comfortable in their classroom with student blogs? Moving on from there, ask them what it would take to move them out into a stretch zone. What would your classroom look like if you stretched beyond comfortable? What would you like to change? Where could you start? And from there, take one step further, or perhaps don't, into the panic zone. What is it that really terrifies them about student blogs? What is it that makes them break out into that cold sweat? Where don't they want to be? And make sure that where you want to go is not too far into their panic zone. My work with grade 1 has made me excited for the new school year to begin. Encouraged by the success younger students had with iPad creation tools such as my favorites, Book Creator, Adobe Voice, Show Me, and Doink Green Screen, I purchased 125 new iPad minis for junior school teachers and students. What I didn't account for was that the implementation of the VPP program in Germany would come with so many glitches, known to Apple and to us, but still meaning that by mid-November, exactly 0 iPads, new or existing, were in use by the junior school. Frustrating doesn't even begin to describe it. We still have MacBooks for grade 3 and 4, so I set out to begin student blogs with these classes. What I regret not doing is setting up clearer expectations with each grade about what student blogs really are. The teachers all have class blogs, but differ in how much they use them and the purpose they see them serve. In fact, the SAMR model best explains the range of use by teachers. Some teachers directly substitute their newsletter for a blog post. Whatever was going to be in the newsletter is now just transferred directly onto the blog. Other teachers will augment their traditional newsletter with pictures, videos, and links to particular websites that pertain to what the students are learning about. Still others will go on to modify their work, the newsletter being inherently something that is pre or post learning, is now current and in-the-moment learning with opportunities for feedback from students and parents. Still others will go on to redefine the whole process. They will blog, post assignments, allow for student voices, and invite a global audience into their classroom. Not starting with a philosophical agreement on why we were blogging was a big mistake. There was still time to make up for this with the students. I decided to rework my Empower User policy from Course 1 with the help of Creative Commons licensed Lego figurines. I wanted to focus the students on a clear big picture when it comes to technology and then break that down. It worked beautifully. We were able to talk about using our power for good and the creation of important work, and the kids understood that to do that they would need skills, cue tutorials, peer teaching, and lots of tinkering. It was a great way to start and connect with the students about the importance of their blogs. One thing that we did agree on was that the children lacked the technology skills to be as effective and independent as they needed to be, so explicit teaching of skills became a mandate, and video tutorials on a variety of topics were created for the students to access whenever they needed. As things were taking off with the blogs, so was I. I was invited to Nanjing International School to lead a 2-day workshop on iPads in the classroom. Upon my return from Nanjing, I realized that I didn't have jet lag. In fact, I was pregnant. And then came setback number 2. In Germany, there's a mother protection law. Basically, if you work with small children and they present a disease like measles, mumps, whooping cough, or influenza, you, or me, the pregnant woman, has to go home for a period of about 21 days. Which means that in the last 8 weeks, I've been at school exactly 6 days. So how has the project continued? I've been in email contact with teachers, although I'm now experiencing the backlash from not forcing the why conversation. For many, this project is not a priority, and they don't see the value added to their class, especially if it is left to them to lead it. My vision of changing the scope and breadth of understanding through the multiple ways technology offers students to respond has not panned out. But what has worked? Let's check in with some students and their teacher.
It's fun to put things so my friends can see.
I like having a blog because then other people can read it and have more information.
If you show it to other people, they might know more things about you. You can just put tons of stuff on it. Chat with people, tell them about your holidays and all that kind of good stuff.
They're very excited. They have seen my blog and have seen how I pass on information to their parents, and they're really excited at the opportunity of being able to do that themselves and to select for themselves what they'd like to have on their blog. They actually communicate with each other. They discuss what they'd like to incorporate on the blog and how they're going to do it, and they do that excitedly. I can see them advising each other and helping each other and talking about which pictures to include, and I also see them sharing each other's blogs, which is really important. I'd like to have the children, at this stage they're only writing them, but I'd like them to comment on each other's blogs. Okay. And I'd like parents to comment on the different children's blogs in the classroom as well. And I'd just like the children to become more adept at using them so that they're less time consuming. So they can say, oh, this is a really good activity, Mrs. Stepansky, can I just write a quick blog post? At the moment, they are not quick enough to do that effectively, but I can see that happening with more practice.
We are in the process of setting up blog subscribers as chosen by the students to bring inside voices to the classroom learning. To engage students within the 5 classes, we're also setting up pentablog squads, groups of 5 students, 1 from each class. Students already have access to their classmates' blogs via their own class blog as a third way of driving traffic to blogs. Finally, I'm in the process of figuring out an authentic purpose for global collaboration via student blogs. With the iPads looking like they'll be in use starting second semester, I'm really looking forward to shifting the focus from the nuts and bolts of how to create a blog into student-created content using the iPads. I'm excited by this thought, and I know based on my work with Grade 1 that having the opportunity for students to create their own content and utilize their skills with the iPad brings a whole new level of understanding that wasn't before readily available to teachers, parents or students. When I spoke as an Apple Distinguished Educator at the ADE Institute in Amsterdam this summer, I described the attitudes of people with regard to the use of technology as to falling into one of three categories: swamp dweller, fence sitter, or go-getter. I have been most successful as a learning technology coach when, firstly, that I've made sure the go-getters know that I'm ready to help them anytime, anywhere with whatever they need. Secondly, I've focused most of my energy and attention on the fence sitters. These are the people that really want to integrate technology into their curriculum, but just aren't sure where or how to begin. This project has reinforced that philosophy, and I am optimistic that the coming semester will see our student blogging platform flourish.